modular home construction, routing studs while they are lying down is a common practice to enhance efficiency. Electrical work within the factory setting is generally performed by electricians. However, it's possible that licensed electrical contractors participate in the electrical installation at the site where the modules are assembled. NM, which stands for non-metallic sheet wire, is permissible in modular homes, and this includes locations such as Chicago, provided it adheres to the guidelines outlined in the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Regarding AV, or audiovisual, distribution panels, the line isolation transformer plays a role in diminishing electrical noise and interference. This can lead to improvements in the performance and reliability of the AV equipment that is connected to the panel. A line isolation transformer can also offer a certain degree of protection against electrical surges and other disturbances in the power supply. It's important to understand that this is not a replacement for dedicated surge protection devices. Now, to delve a bit deeper into the world of electrical wiring and safety, let's examine the National Electrical Code, or NEC, which serves as the cornerstone for safe electrical installations. The NEC provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical systems, components, and equipment to minimize fire and shock hazards. Article 300.4 addresses protection against physical damage and ensures that wiring methods are adequately protected from potential damage. Article 310 covers conductors for general wiring, outlining requirements for conductor insulation, ampacity, and installation methods. When working with NM cable, commonly referred to as Romex, it's crucial to follow NEC guidelines for proper support and protection. NM cable must be secured and supported at specific intervals, typically every 4.5 feet, and within 12 inches of electrical boxes or enclosures. This ensures that the cable is not subject to excessive strain or physical damage. In addition, NM cable must be protected from physical damage where it passes through framing members, such as studs or joists. This can be achieved by using metal or plastic sleeves, or by drilling holes at least 1.25 inches from the edge of the framing member. Grounding is another critical aspect of electrical safety. The NEC requires that all electrical equipment and systems be properly grounded to provide a low impedance path for fault currents. This helps to protect against electrical shock hazards and minimize the risk of fire. Grounding can be achieved by connecting the equipment grounding conductor to a grounding electrode system such as a ground rod or water pipe. Surge protection devices, or SPDs, are essential for protecting sensitive electronic equipment from voltage surges and spikes. Surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, or other electrical disturbances. SPD work by diverting excess voltage away from the protected equipment, preventing damage. SPD should be installed at the service entrance and at branch circuits to provide comprehensive surge protection. When selecting SPD, it's important to consider the voltage rating, surge current capacity, and protection level. Line isolation transformers are commonly used in audiovisual systems to reduce electrical noise and interference. These transformers provide electrical isolation between the incoming power line and the connected equipment. This isolation helps to block common mode noise, which can degrade the performance of audio and video signals. Line isolation transformers also provide a degree of protection against electrical surges and spikes. However, they are not a substitute for dedicated surge protection devices. When installing a line isolation transformer, it's important to ensure that it is properly grounded and that the wiring connections are secure. The transformer should be sized appropriately for the load it will be serving, and it should be installed in a well-ventilated area to prevent overheating. Electrical noise can be a significant problem in audiovisual systems, causing hum, hiss, and other unwanted artifacts. Noise can be generated by a variety of sources, including power line interference, ground loops, and electromagnetic interference. To minimize electrical noise, it's important to use shielded cables, isolate ground loops, and filter the incoming power line. Shielded cables help to block electromagnetic interference from external sources. Ground loops can be eliminated by ensuring that all equipment is grounded to a single point. Power line filters can remove unwanted noise from the incoming power line. In modular home construction, the electrical wiring is typically installed in the factory before the modules are transported to the construction site. This allows for efficient and cost-effective installation. The electrical wiring must comply with all applicable codes and standards, including the NEC. The electrical system must be inspected and approved by a qualified electrical inspector before the home can be occupied. Modular homes are subject to the same electrical codes and standards as site-built homes. This ensures that modular homes are safe and reliable. When planning the electrical system for a modular home, it's important to consider the specific needs of the occupants. This includes the number of outlets, lighting fixtures, and appliances. The electrical system should be designed to handle the expected load, and it should be expandable to accommodate future needs. In addition to the NEC, there may be local electrical codes and regulations that must be followed. It's important to check with the local building department to determine the applicable requirements. Electrical work should only be performed by qualified and licensed electricians. This ensures that the work is done safely and in accordance with applicable codes and standards. DIY electrical work can be dangerous and may not meet code requirements. When selecting an electrician, it's important to check their qualifications and experience. Ask for references and verify their license status. A qualified electrician will be able to design and install an electrical system that meets your needs and complies with all applicable codes and standards. Regular electrical inspections are essential for maintaining the safety and reliability of your electrical system. Inspections should be performed by a qualified electrical inspector. The inspector will check for potential hazards such as loose wiring, damaged insulation, and overloaded circuits. They will also ensure that the electrical system complies with applicable codes and standards. Any identified problems should be repaired promptly by a qualified electrician. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. Homeowners should be aware of potential electrical hazards and take steps to minimize the risk of accidents. This includes avoiding overloading circuits, using extension cords safely, and keeping electrical equipment away from water. If you have any concerns about the safety of your electrical system, contact a qualified electrician for assistance. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous. Always take precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock and fire hazards. Following safe electrical practices can help to ensure the safety of your home and family. Furthermore, the NEC Article 210.12 covers arc fault circuit interrupter protection, or FSIs, which are crucial for preventing electrical fires. FSIs are designed to detect arc faults, which are dangerous electrical conditions that can cause fires. They quickly shut off the power to the affected circuit, preventing a fire from starting. FSIs are required in many areas of the home, including bedrooms, living rooms, and dining rooms. When installing FSIs, it's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and ensure that they are properly wired. FSIs should be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are another important safety device. GFCIs are designed to protect against electrical shock hazards. They detect ground faults, which occur when electricity leaks to ground. GFCIs quickly shut off the power to the affected circuit, preventing an electrical shock. GFCIs are required in areas where there is a risk of water exposure, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor outlets. When installing GFCIs, it's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and ensure that they are properly wired. GFCIs should be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Overcurrent protection is essential for protecting electrical circuits from damage caused by excessive current flow. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to interrupt the flow of current when it exceeds a safe level. Circuit breakers are resettable devices that can be tripped manually or automatically. Fuses are one-time use devices that must be replaced after they have blown. When selecting overcurrent protection devices, it's important to choose the correct size for the circuit being protected. The size of the overcurrent protection device should be based on the ampacity of the conductors in the circuit. It's important to never replace an overcurrent protection device with a larger size, as this can create a fire hazard. Proper wiring techniques are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. This includes using the correct wire size, making secure connections, and protecting wires from damage. Wire size is determined by the ampacity of the circuit. The larger the ampacity, the larger the wire size required. Secure connections are essential for preventing loose connections, which can cause overheating and electrical fires. Wires should be protected from damage by using conduit, cable trays, or other protective measures. Proper grounding and bonding are critical for electrical safety. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault currents, which helps to protect against electrical shock hazards and minimize the risk of fire. Bonding is the process of connecting all metal parts of an electrical system together to create a common ground potential. This helps to prevent voltage differences between metal parts, which can cause electrical shock hazards. Regular maintenance is essential for keeping electrical systems in good working order. This includes inspecting wiring, connections, and equipment for signs of damage or wear. Any identified problems should be repaired promptly by a qualified electrician. It's also important to keep electrical panels clean and free of debris. Accumulation of dust and debris can cause overheating and electrical fires. Energy efficiency is an important consideration when designing and installing electrical systems. Energy-efficient lighting, appliances, and equipment can help to reduce energy consumption and save money. LED lighting is a highly energy-efficient option that can significantly reduce energy costs. Energy Star certified appliances and equipment meet strict energy efficiency guidelines. When designing an electrical system, it's important to consider future needs. This includes planning for additional outlets, circuits, and capacity to accommodate future growth. It's also important to consider the potential for adding new technologies such as solar panels or electric vehicle charging stations. A well-planned electrical system will be able to meet your needs for years to come. Furthermore, understanding voltage drop is crucial in electrical system design. Voltage drop refers to the decrease in voltage that occurs along a conductor due to its resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or operate inefficiently. The NEC provides guidelines for allowable voltage drop in branch circuits and feeders. To minimize voltage drop, it's important to use the correct wire size and keep conductor lengths as short as possible. Conduit fill is another important consideration when installing electrical wiring. Conduit fill refers to the amount of space occupied by conductors inside a conduit. The NEC limits the amount of conduit fill to prevent overheating and damage to the conductors. The allowable conduit fill depends on the type of conduit, the size of the conductors, and the number of conductors. It's important to consult the NEC tables to determine the appropriate conduit fill for a given installation. Electrical drawings and diagrams are essential for planning and documenting electrical systems. Electrical drawings show the layout of the electrical system, including the location of outlets, lighting fixtures, and equipment. Electrical diagrams show the wiring connections and components of the electrical system. These drawings and diagrams are used by electricians to install and maintain the electrical system. They are also used by inspectors to verify that the electrical system complies with applicable codes and standards. Electrical safety training is essential for anyone who works with or around electrical equipment. Electrical safety training provides employees with the knowledge and skills necessary to identify and avoid electrical hazards. Training should cover topics such as electrical shock hazards, arc flash hazards, lockout/tagout procedures, and the proper use of personal protective equipment. Regular electrical safety training can help to prevent electrical accidents and injuries. Working with electricity can be dangerous. Always take precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock and fire hazards.